If you want to move to Spain or you are living in Spain, I want to tell you there are 6 overlooked sentences that you are going to need to integrate in Spain. 6 words that you are going to use hundreds of times, okay? So just learn these 6 words and the integration is going to be much easier. I am Jorge and I help expats integrate in Spain and learn the language fast, not in 3 years, but in a few months. So, what are the sentences? For example, this one. No hablo español. Estoy aprendiendo. What does that mean? I don't speak Spanish. I am learning. I don't speak Spanish. I am learning. No hablo español. Estoy aprendiendo. Why is this sentence useful? Because you may want to set the expectations for them. So they will maybe speak slowly, or they will try to choose words that are easier for you, and it's going to be easier. Also, I see that many of you that are learning the language, once you say this, you feel more relieved. Like, okay, now they don't expect me to have advanced level and so on. So this is something very useful, but especially when they speak fast to you, you can say this. No hablo español, estoy aprendiendo. And more important, many clients, they tell me that when they are in Spain, someone speaks to them and then they panic. They don't think about words. They say, I forgot all my verbs. I couldn't think of any word, etc. So in that moment, first of all, you can take your time to respond. You don't have to hurry up. It's not an exam. And you can just say this sentence. No hablo español. Estoy aprendiendo. And from there, the other person may be a bit more patient with you. But especially I recommend you to unite this word with this sentence with other sentences like ¿puedes repetir, por favor? So, what does this mean? Can you repeat, please? This sentence is very simple and you're going to need it. Even me, as a Spaniard, I need it. So, ¿puedes repetir, por favor? Another sentence, because they speak very fast in Spain. ¿Puedes hablar más despacio, por favor? ¿Puedes hablar más despacio, por favor? I recommend you to say it at the same time as me, so you practice too, your pronunciation. So, what does this mean? Can you speak more slowly, please? Can you speak more slowly? Spaniards speak very fast because we don't make pauses between words. We change the word. So, ¿puedes hablar más despacio, por favor? That's how I would say it as a Spaniard. But maybe now if you are starting to learn the language, that's very fast for you. So you may need this sentence. ¿Puedes hablar más despacio, por favor? And you tell them. And in many cases, they will speak more slowly. So next one. No entiendo, no entiendo. This is super useful. This just means I don't understand. No entiendo. So what are all these sentences about that are overlooked? They are sentences made to save you in those situations when you are not following the conversation, you are stuck in the conversation, and you are maybe panicking. You just use these sentences. In the beginning, you are going to need them a lot, and they are going to save you in those situations, but also they are going to help you to move the conversation forward because they are about clarifying the meaning of what the other person says, or as we will see, what you want to say. So they are very important, and the Spaniards they speak in a way that is very direct. So if you tell them just no entiendo or I don't speak Spanish, no hablo español, maybe they don't know what you want from them. Maybe they don't know that you want them to repeat. So I recommend you to follow this no entiendo with some of the things that we learn, with like puedes repetir, por favor, or Puedes hablar más despacio, por favor. I recommend you to use these 6 sentences. If you apply them, you will have hundreds of situations to use them during the next months. Okay, this one, it has the weirdest of all the words here, significa. Significa is about meaning. So, ¿qué significa? Means what does a certain word mean. So, ¿qué significa coche? ¿Qué significa naranja? ¿Qué significa avión? You hear a word or a few words that you don't understand, but you can repeat the sounds that you heard. So you say, ¿qué significa coche? ¿Qué significa avión? So then you don't say, no entiendo, I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish, and the conversation ends, as it often happens. No, you rescue it, you find ways to continue the conversation. Another one, very similar to this one. ¿Cómo se dice a certain word en español? ¿Cómo se dice? Do you know what that means? That means, how do you say in Spanish? ¿Cómo se dice plane en español? ¿Cómo se dice orange en español? Okay, so the same. You are stuck in the conversation, you need help from the other side, and you use one of these 6 sentences. They are sentences to clarify and to be able to communicate in the end, because it's not exam, it's just we need to communicate with other people. And by the way, I am not translating them literally because maybe it wouldn't make sense in English, they wouldn't sound natural. ¿Cómo se dice en español? Okay, so we are going to do a small recap. First sentence, no hablo español, estoy aprendiendo. I don't speak Spanish, I'm learning. Second sentence, ¿puedes repetir, por favor? Can you repeat, please? Then, ¿puedes hablar más despacio, por favor? Can you speak more slowly, please? I recommend you to repeat what I say, okay? To practice the pronunciation. No entiendo. I don't understand. ¿Qué significa a certain word? What does a certain word mean? ¿Qué significa coche? What does coche mean? ¿Cómo se dice car en español? How do you say car in Spanish? Okay, so I recommend you to learn these 6 sentences. They are way more useful, way more important, and way more frequent than knowing the numbers. Well, knowing the numbers maybe not, but much more useful than knowing 200 numbers, more useful than knowing the colors, the days of the week, the months, because you are going to use this in almost every conversation that you're going to have if you're a beginner in Spanish and you're trying to integrate in Spain. So if you want to progress fast in Spanish, if you are already in Spain or you plan to move to Spain, I recommend you to start working now if you want to integrate, to start learning the language. And it doesn't need to be 3 years like it happens with Duolingo or it happens with certain group classes or a textbook. Like you can read a full textbook and still don't be able to speak Spanish. I recommend you to work with me if you want to make big progress in the next 3 months, to have social autonomy and socialize with Spanish people. So if you want to work with me, you can book a call. The link is in the description. And that's all. Hasta pronto.